Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's what is this? TRI Top 100 Cryptocurrencies. Woo, party! I think we gotta have a better name for this. In fact, maybe we should take the first letters of our NBDY. NBDY. Maybe that's what we'll call this show. Anyway, why it says on the Google Hangout, I have Nick up top, I have Ben in between, I got Derek at the bottom, and then you at the bottom. So that's why I said why. Anyway, welcome back to the Frivolity. This is our episode 4. The boys actually corrected me. Thank you for that. Of our TRI Top 100 Crypto Review show. This, of course, is Brian kind of just flying by the seat of his pants, trying as best as he can to offer some value, some insight into the cryptocurrency space for not only site members, but also too maybe the public a bit. And actually, I've noticed that on balance, the offering's been received relatively well. And just even to respond to somebody that commented last week, we're just we're a few guys that really like the space. And we're just trying to figure this out as we go. In fact, we even had a conversation before we even started the recording. How do you even come up with fundamental valuations on cryptocurrencies in this world? What the hell is value? How do you define value? So that's actually a big part of the conversation that I'd like to have with these gentlemen. It is a work in progress. We're just doing our best, just trying our thing. And hopefully we'll make a couple bucks along the way here. So we have the full panel on here tonight, which is super cool. So I'll just sort of run top to bottom on my screen here and just do a little hellos. So out of the great state of New Mexico, neighbor to Kevin and Baka, we've got Nick. How you doing tonight, Nick?
I'm good, Brian. What's up?
Good. Well, sky still. Taller and taller skyscrapers in Vancouver. That's what's up. They just keep going up. Anyway, great to have you on board. And really enjoyed our conversation last week. And so reckon we're going to just carry on. Moving on down the pike. Actually, Ben was MIA last week, but he did a bunch of great analysis work for the spreadsheet. And actually, I realized, I learned tonight, we have different grades of actual site members in this group, which is totally awesome. Nick, you're currently in the level 1 program, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. And Ben, actually, I learned tonight, isn't even in the education program, but he is a site member. So that's totally cool. How are you doing this evening, Ben?
I'm doing great, yeah. Looking forward to showing people what it's like not being a member and how to digest the information without having all that background information.
Well, yeah, actually, that's a good point. All of our site members are at sort of various different stages of their own educational journey. It was just interesting to learn tonight because our final panelist here, Derek DeBorn, I talked to him on the YouTube pages. I think every Sunday we have conversations on there through the Brothers Chickens, don't we?
Yeah, I first came on like Ben, so I just started watching the Broiler Chicken show. I saw the value there, and then decided to join the site. Actually, I got it was a 30-day trial or something like that.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, it was a 30-day trial, and then decided to jump into level 1, and then now I'm on the level 2, so it's been good.
So this is really cool. Actually, I didn't realize this before, but I think this is really cool that we have a nice spread of people that have bought the Brian bullshit. Thank you, Derek, and thank you, Nick, and guys that are sitting on the sidelines going, okay, I kind of buying your bullshit, Brian, but maybe I want to mine you just a bit more, and let's really see whether this thing called the process is actually worth learning. I don't know. But I was joking with Ben tonight. My job, my aspiration in life is to get him to the point where he can say he's a TRI alumni OG. That's my aspiration. Let's see how he does. Next week he's not here. Oh, shitty. Anyway. So we should have a lively conversation tonight. Super stoked. Great to see all three of my co-hosts decided to come back this week. I didn't know whether they were going to arrive or not. So that in itself, I think, is a good thing. As I had said, just to start off, I thought the feedback from the public was relatively positive. We do have a few people that are kind of, a little skeptical of what we're doing here. We're not really trying to tell you what to buy or sell. You know that. I think I had told the boys earlier tonight what I'd really like is to have this spreadsheet on the website and just have it as almost like a reference piece for people that are coming on the site. Well, actually we've got a running list of the top 100 cryptocurrencies. We've done a little bit of a survey. We've got, relatively recent charts, and maybe through these shows we update them. And it's just a handy resource for us to have on the site. I have said repeatedly that I would like to try and get like a booth or something for TRI up and running in Decentraland. And I thought a great sort of way to finance that would be to just simply ask if you thought you got some value out of this presentation. Maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't. I don't know, maybe somebody told you a funny joke or something here in the lounge that made you chuckle and it made your day. I don't know. But we do have a ETH wallet that's hooked up to the Decentraland Mana sort of platform, if you will. I think I'm showing this on the YouTube page. And if if you're not a site member, you're not really interested, but you thought you got some half decent value out of anything that we said tonight, we'd like for you to maybe consider making a small donation to help us buy a piece of land in Decentraland. So this is sort of an initiative that I did sort of out of my back pocket. Well, back pocket's not the right word. Just on my own volition. And like I said, any compensation, any sort of remuneration for doing this, I'd like TRI to try and get a booth in Decentraland. Okay, I think I've said that enough. So on to the coins. Spreadsheets filling out nicely. I mean, look at this. We're getting some good stuff. Guys even asked me tonight, what is it that I really want to get out of this? What I want to hear is I want to hear a good story. So when when we were talking last week and the guys were telling me about that coin that basically is doing the same sort of thing as YouTube, but decentralized, that kind of stuff gets me really interested. Of course, too, I really like that Filecoin story. I do understand that EOS and I think Tron were sort of a bit suspect, and I think Ben, actually, you did a Google search and you came up a little bit scam coiny kind of screens there on those.
I think I threw you under the bus there last week and got you in some hot water.
Yeah, a couple people watching the video, they did not like that at all.
I'm sorry.
And we even got some you know what? I would rather you be honest and you just tell it like it is. And earlier, before we even got the video going, Ben even asked me, he's sort of like, well, how the hell do you do fundamental analysis in this space these days? I mean, it's like the goalposts are constantly changing and moving. And I have to say, you know what? You're right. So that's a big part of why I kind of want to do this is we haven't really created a framework for how especially something like I don't even know how. How do you actually value a decentral sort of staking asset? You get paid in the coins for the job that you do, but what happens if the coins themselves collapse in price? Does that not mean that all your yield and interest payment and all that collapses as well? I don't know. I do remember I worked with one gentleman last cycle who really bought into the idea of ADA. And he had the master nodes, and Dash had master nodes and the whole thing, man. And he was just loaded up with these things. And then, of course, the prices collapsed. So I'm still, to be perfectly honest with you, everybody, I'm still kind of skeptical. They always say I'm from Missouri. If you don't know what that means, just look up the state motto of the state of Missouri. So, okay, blah 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 blah. Shall we get to work here, guys? What was the coin? What coin did we leave off with?
We're at 31 Neo.
Neo. All right, Neo. All right, this is a pretty famous coin, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been around for a while, like since 2014, 2015, something like that.
Yeah. So who wants to tell the story? Once upon a time. See, actually, Ben, you did all our work for us last week. All these guys had to do is just click on your links. They made the job. You made their job really easy last week. Now, who's going to tell me a story of Neo here tonight?
I'll let somebody else go with it. This was a little before my time. I just kind of know it as kind of they call it the Chinese Ethereum. It's an Ethereum smart contract competitor, but that's about all I know about it.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, so what I know is, and this is going back to probably 2017 when it got a lot of hype and got, people started calling it the Chinese coin or Aegis Blockchain, is because there was a guy named Da-Hong-Fei, I guess was one of the founders.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't know his backstory, but it seemed like he had a large presence in the crypto community. And I don't know if he did other projects before, whatever it was, but it was something attached to his name that sort of got it really hype, right? And so when I look at it now, the way I like to look at things in terms of value is it actually being used, right? Is there a good platform for actually developers to use it and build on it? Because most of them are open blockchains, right? So it has to be some sort of a nice way for developers to interface with it, good documentation, that type of thing. Another thing is I probably would want to look at is if they're open repos, like so for GitHub, where people put all their code and maintain it. Has that been updated recently, or are people actually working on it, right? And so that's a big part of kind of what I look at. And I was doing a little bit of research on this, and I saw that it supports several different programming languages, so like Java, C++, Go, JavaScript, Python, Ruby. So it's openly accessible for, say, a developer to jump in and probably use. They don't have to learn a new development language, right? And that's big if you're talking about people adopting it and actually building stuff on it.
Yeah. Are people actually building?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I wasn't able to kind of track that down. I don't see any apps on there, and I guess this is probably good. I mean, a question to pose to some of the viewers if they have some input or insight on these different things that we talk about, to add comments or to chat in the chat. We'll probably need to do a good job of monitoring the chat and see what people are saying, because we don't know everything about these coins. We're trying to figure it out too, right? And I'm just recalling things from kind of just being around for a while. So,
but I told I think you were having trouble connecting earlier. I told the boys earlier tonight that I believe that it was fate that the four of us were brought together.
Oh, I believe in all that too. Yeah.
Huh? Well,
I believe in all that type of stuff. So yeah.
So I kind of like there was a gentleman, bless his heart, on the site. It was kind of like he wanted to get involved in the room that I put together for you guys, and I was kind of like, what? I think I'd like to let these three guys just blossom, and I don't want you guys to be overwhelmed by other people, because I have seen other people kind of like bully their way into the space and kind of take over. So I appreciate what you're saying. If anything, why don't we say this? Why don't we say, well, through the show, if you want to throw out your 2 cents about a coin or something along those lines, like in the lounge or on the YouTube page, totally cool. Or even in the comments of the YouTube video, if you guys want to read them back later on. But I just don't want you guys to get pounced on in that room. That room's supposed to be your playground. So that's what I see in my brain. Now, maybe I'm totally misinterpreting this and I'm doing it wrong. But I didn't want you guys to feel like you were being pounced on.
Yeah.
So, having said that,
so getting back to Neo, I mean, they have smart contracts. If you hold Neo in a wallet, like a Neo supported wallet, you can earn their version of gas. Well, it's actually called gas, right? And so
so would you say that Neo is to Ethereum like Ubiq is to Ethereum?
I'm not. I would say Neo is the Ethereum to Ethereum. Like it's almost like a direct competitor, right? It's
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's not as large. I
Like
mean, I don't think-
Ubic is a clone of Ethereum.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I would say yes. I would say yes in that case.
Okay.
Yeah, it's also like 1,000 times smaller than Neo's market cap, though.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, they're Canadians, right? Us little Canadians. We're up. You seen Alex? He's hanging out on his farm. He's hanging out with his his tractors. And, yeah. Okay. Technically speaking, I'd be curious to see if there was anything fundamentally actually driving this rally from the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you could make the argument that price-wise, the market pretty much based. You can say, it's pretty obvious. This is really basic school stuff. That's pretty darn good-looking W down there. Also, too, you can see that basically this is where the street is long. At $13. This is on Phoenix. I don't know whether Phoenix is the best place to look at this. I always, it'd be interesting. Like, I remember Phoenix actually got hacked and, the whole crypto space almost exploded there a few years ago. What are your guys' thoughts on Phoenix these days? Do you even use them? Is it even part of your crypto existence?
Yeah, I don't think U.S. folks can use Phoenix.
Oh, the
Right.
U.S. customers, you've been outlawed, eh? Oh, I didn't even realize that.
One of the many places we've been outlawed.
That's a
Yeah,
lot. Yeah, I suppose all three of you are in the United States, aren't you?
Yep.
All right, well, I guess we won't hold that against you. Sorry. They're all Americans. I gotta look at YouTube. All right, you guys are laughing over there. I gotta remember I'm the minority here, so I better be quiet. Actually, I thought was hilarious. Like I'm going. You can't see on YouTube, but I'm going for the mustache guy look. I don't know whether you know what that reference is. And mustache guy, he wears jeans, jean shirt, and a jean jacket. That's his uniform. And I couldn't believe it. We got guys down in the southeast U.S. and they call guys that wear jeans, jean jacket, and a jean shirt, they call that a Canadian tuxedo. I couldn't believe that. And like a couple other guys. These guys are down in Texas, and they actually said, "Yeah, well, that's actually what they call those guys. They're wearing a Canadian tuxedo." I was like, "Where did that come from?" Anyway, I digress. All right, so the chart. What the hell's up with the chart? It's kind of tough for us to make a decision, fundamental-wise, when what I'm hearing is, it's a clone of Ethereum. Not really sure what's actually going on in the background. They've got lots of functionality, but what are people actually using it for? Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd quite say a clone. It's a competitor
Competitor. All right.
to Ethereum, but
So, half of the time sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I know it is like a Chinese coin, but there is, I remember listening to a podcast and this guy who was a former Microsoft engineer, his name's Harry Pearson, but he's doing a lot of development on it through what's called NGD Enterprises out of Seattle. So there's still a bit of work going on even here in the US. So
Okay.
yeah.
So maybe look into that, fundamental, what's the story, build a better mousetrap, it'd be interesting to see what that guy's sort of career bent is. Is he into AI? Is he like Internet of Things? That kind of thing, I'm sure he's probably got some sort of angle on this. I suppose, is there going to be like bridging for something like this? Would you be able to hop back and forth between Ethereum and this?
I don't know if there are any bridges between Neo and Ethereum. I mean, the future of blockchain is definitely going to be interoperability. One of them that we're going to talk about a little later today, Cosmos, Atom, they're really big into interoperability. And so I think even if it's not there now, I imagine it will be in the next couple of years.
Okay. Well, this is one of these ones that maybe you're trying to get in on the market a bit cheap. I would actually say that this thing's still kind of stuck in our trading range. And actually what it really did here was just nothing more than a very natural 50% bounce off of the bottom. In fact, actually, when Dav, remember Ben, we were talking about Dav earlier tonight. When Dav and I did our little video back here, we were talking about Ethereum and could it possibly get up to its 50% rule. This is actually a pretty normal thing to happen in the markets. It's not really out of the ordinary. So, pretty normal. My hunch is probably momentum-wise, I was on a divergence right there, so momentum was sort of waning. And then, basically Alan there pulled the carpet out from underneath the market and everything kind of melted away following that event. I said, for whatever it's worth, I still think Alan was nothing more than a smokescreen for the Coinbase IPO. I think that's actually why the whole crypto market came off, but that's here nor there. Would I be interested in doing anything here? I'm not really hearing too much of a, oh my god, I gotta run out and buy this thing fundamentally. I suppose I could make the argument technically, because we are coming back down into value. Usually value high sees a bit of action, and then also too, I think we've talked about this with this audience, but when price usually comes back down and checks the original breakout, hint, 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 that's the name of the term, we actually call this famous market technician Richard Wyckoff. We call this a Wyckoff check. So and actually interesting, 88.6. This actually, we had a guy on the site years ago out of Berlin. I think he's still in Germany, Ian. Anyway, in the library we have a setup a Leprechavark. I don't know whether you guys have ever seen that or not. But that's basically Ian's setup. He loved hitting that 88.6 of the original market structure. So, technically speaking, I think it's definitely coming into location. The only problem is, like I said, just listening to the boys, I didn't hear a really bullish case to be made. Oh my God, you got to go get this thing. If anything, what probably is going to happen here is this thing's going to carve out some sort of saucer bottom. And these things usually take a while to bottom, something along those lines. And you see, I mean, look how big this saucer bottom is. I mean, this thing took forever to turn. All right, see that? So, I don't know how long this is going to take. I wouldn't be surprised if this actually, the saucer size, is directly proportional to the actual size of the previous rally. So we might be able to do some work there. But my hunch is, maybe something like that. Probably through, this actually looks like it's not going to barely be doing anything through the rest of the summer into next year. So, I don't know. Location, okay. Is this like a technical buy? There's a W there. You got to get in there and buy it. It's going straight up. No. I mean, could there be a cute little 3-bar fractal here that fires a cute little buy signal? I've seen a bunch of these cryptocurrencies have done this over the past couple days. Capitulation dump. Maybe we got to, really, I might even argue that the trading range right now is that low. And this high up here, maybe even that high there, but even, really that high there, because that's the previous market structure fail top. So there's your playground. Boing, 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 boing. I suppose they, again, why would you own this? If you had a reason, okay, fine. They're coming out with a new product. The GitHub, they're active, something, whatever. Maybe there's something like that. Just to test of value high again. Actually, I guess that would just be that range there. Something like that. I could see that, test right back up here. Actually, I see like see that, actually, you know what? The tell is this candle right here. That doji. There's a bunch of trap bulls in there, right? The market opened up, they rallied it up, and then it just puked out. So in that candle right there and that candle right there, there's a bunch of trap bulls that really would desperately like to be released. And my hunch is that's probably a reload short zone. That's what we got here. Yeah. So good old mountain man. It's not a bad objective up top here. Simple conservative targets. I like to use 50% rule. So actually, if I was hunting along, this might take a few attempts to actually get that bottom and it hold. That would probably be what I was thinking about going forward into the summer. But I don't know, you guys. I'm not hearing a case like, oh my god, I got to go buy this thing now.
And I will say that looks like they are doing some like things like other blockchains in terms of like they have DeFi come in and that type of thing. So they're working on it. I just don't know who's actually, if any other projects are building on it and that type of thing. So the play may be, if Asia, China allows it, then that may be sort of their coin, right, where they invest in it or whatever. So.
Well, and that's half of the reason why, just for whatever it's worth, please don't be insulted. I'm sure we're going to get lots of downvotes over it. But I was a stockbroker, licensed broker, ethics designations, the whole fucking thing, fiduciary responsibility. I could get sued if I put somebody in a bad idea. And we just had a general rule, you can't invest any money in China. You just can't do it. Because frankly speaking, they can change the rules on you just like that, a la Mr. Ma, what you saw happen to him. And then number two, of course, I have a very, very hard time accepting what the state of it. Everybody on the site knows exactly my feelings there, so I won't go into that too much. But I will say, if you are going to go into China, please understand that they have a basic philosophy that if you are taken advantage of, you are the one that is at fault, not the person who took advantage of you. So be forewarned, okay, everybody?
Well, I mean, talking about changing the rules too, I mean, they just did that with Bitcoin mining, caused the hash rate to plummet, which is speculated that some of this last dump over the last 8 to 10 days has been, that's been the main reason for it. So
yeah. I think I remember you talking about that a few months ago. I seem to remember you. Was that you? Somebody.
Probably wasn't me. They've done it a couple times. I think there was one maybe back beginning of April.
I think it was one of the three of you that was going on, I don't like the way China owns this thing so much.
Well, I mean, I might have said that.
Yeah.
I don't like how they own it all. I think it's going to eventually be really bullish because you got some mining rigs going to Kazakhstan. There's some going to Maryland. Some going to they're getting spread out across the world. I think long term that's healthier for Bitcoin for sure.
Yeah. I mean, now with regard to this story in particular, we were talking earlier about fundamental valuation. How do you actually value this fundamentally? How many coins are out on this thing? Does anybody have any idea?
I think it's 100 million.
Okay. So 100 million, $32 a coin. So quite literally, this is 3.2 billion dollars. So the question ultimately here is, how do you actually put a value on one of these coins? I'm not quite sure how you do that. Is this POW or POS?
It's POS. I'm fairly certain.
All right. So how do you? I still haven't figured this out, but I guess the way, what is Vitalik sort of figure that the way that we value an ETH is by the gas fee? Is that how he tries to figure out what a value of one ETH is?
I don't know, because he got pretty mad earlier when gas was up at 500.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well,
he was really upset about that.
He got pretty upset the last big bull cycle. You're killing my supercomputer, So anyway, okay. So there's the chart. We probably spent enough time on this guy. Buyer beware when it comes to China. Just understand what you're getting involved with, folks. I mean, let's not sugarcoat this. We're all capitalists here, all right? Not a bad location. It's just I didn't really hear a reason to why. So that's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say not a bad location, but why would I own this over something else? I mean, are they doing video sharing, that kind of stuff? I don't know. All right, so who's this? This is Derek. Is that you right there? You just put that below me?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Hold on. I'm just going to move you up there then, okay? He said, not interesting, not interested. FA, been around a while. TA, Lake for retraced 88.6. All right. Just got a big fat not interested from Nick. And Ben, what's your call here? Oh, crickets. Ben says, wait a bit longer. Okay, there's a bold statement. All right. Just like subscribing to TRI. I'm going to wait just a little bit longer. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, on to the next one. I'm just totally flying by the seat of my pants here. How are we doing, gentlemen? Are you having fun? Are you enjoying yourselves?
Always.
Good, good. Give me some feedback.
Yeah, it's great value. Love watching you tear up the charts.
Okay. And last but not least, Derek, do I get a passing grade?
Yes, sir. I'm having fun.
All right, good, good. Okay, kusama. Actually, I think I own a ton of kusama. I seem to recall that I bought a whack of this a while ago. Maybe it was something else. This is KMD, isn't it?
No, that's KSM is kusama. KMD, I think, is Komodo.
Oh, okay. Well, that's close. What the hell?
I remember you trying to get a fill a few times, but it just kept missing for you.
Could be. Was that one? Was that the one?
I think it was.
Kusama's definitely been one of the better performers this cycle.
All right. Wow, that's actually a pretty handsome looking chart. That's not bad. So what's the and is this the best place to look at it? Kusama versus Bitcoin on Binance? Do you think that's a good place to look? Anyone?
I think you've at least got enough of the history. That's probably about where it started. I don't know when it exactly went live, though.
Yeah, I think it actually launched on Binance, so it's probably good.
Okay. So, we got a story here.
Yeah, Kusama's got a good story. So we talked about Polkadot the first week.
Okay.
It was Polkadot and Kusama were both started by Gavin Wood, who was one of the co-creators of
Gavin
Ethereum.
Wood. This is Gavin Wood.
Yep, this is one of them. So think of Polkadot as, well, I don't really like this analogy, but this is what people use. They think of Polkadot as like the production blockchain, and then Kusama is like the test net. It's the where you can get out all of the development problems and things like that before going to Polkadot. However, I think that's a little short-sighted because you will end up having plenty of coins that just live on Kusama and they never make it to Polkadot. So I don't really like that analogy, but that's how a lot of people think of Kusama versus Polkadot. They have a concept called parachains for both of these ecosystems where there will be a limited number of parachains that a coin can lease. And to lease the parachain, you either need to, if it's on Polkadot, you need to stake a ton of DOT. If it's on Kusama, you need to stake a ton of Kusama. And so it does have some, not necessarily deflationary aspects to it, but aspects to kind of pull supply out. Think of it kind of like the ETH 2.0 staking.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think, is locked up for maybe a year on Kusama and 2 years on Polkadot.
Okay,
I forget the exact time frames.
Parachain slot auction.
Yep, and those are just starting up. I think they started up a couple weeks ago for the Kusama parachains.
Mm-hmm. They have a bunch of people involved. So that's kind of cool. This, on the site, Stuart talks about Luna. He's in love with Luna. And how they have a whole bunch of different stuff that's sort of like non-directly crypto sort of tied into the Luna network. Is that sort of what all this is?
So these are coins that are kind of up for the parachains on Kusama. So essentially, they will get a spot in the Kusama ecosystem if they win one of these parachains.
Oh.
And so these are actually crowd-funded. So they try to get the community to lock up a bunch of Kusama. In return, you often get coins of the coins. So like the third one there, Bifrost. If you stake some Kusama for Bifrost parachain, you might get Bifrost as a reward back.
Fascinating. So, and so there's almost like a built-in demand for the Kusama tokens because you buy the Kusama to list your token on their network. So that's sort of how it works?
Yeah, to be able to kind of go live on their blockchain, sort of.
Cool. So what's the difference between this and the way that Ethereum did those massive crowd sales and crowd fundings? Like, are we going to see the same thing happen with these guys kind of thing? Maybe yes.
So I'm not entirely certain what you're asking there, but this
you remember
this
last cycle when things went nuts to the peak, right? 17. People were coming up with these token offerings, ICOs, like crazy, and they were all just tokens on the Ethereum chain, right? Isn't that how it worked?
Yep, I mean anyone can kind of run something on Ethereum. But it seems to me like this is quite a bit different, like getting a parachain and running on Kusama versus just any coin being able to start up on Ethereum.
All right. Well, I don't know jack shit, right? So
it seems more like the developers and whoever the projects are more invested and actually stand there, and they can't just necessarily dump all their coins and leave. Or,
Gavin Wood, he's pretty OG in this space, though. Eh? So I guess
it almost seems like there's something contractual there too, with between the chain and the project, which kind of states all this stuff. That it was kind of implied when I was listening to some stuff about it, but I mean that'd be the major difference as to where it's not just anybody can't walk off the street, start a coin up, raise funds and leave.
Right.
So it protects the investor a little bit.
There's only 100 parachains that will ever be for Polkadot, right?
Yeah.
So it's unlike ICOs were unlimited. So there's a slight difference there.
Okay. So there's a finite supply that can be on this thing.
And one of the, I mean, this isn't for necessarily Kusama itself or Polkadot itself, but one of the benefits to getting a parachain is you kind of insulate yourself from competitors. Because if you are on a parachain, if you've leased a parachain, you essentially have support from Polkadot or from Kusama. Where if you have a competitor that doesn't, they're on the outside trying to get in. And so you're kind of insulated from competitors a little bit if you can get one. So I do see that as a pretty decent fundamental driver for the coins that do win a parachain.
That's cool. Awesome. Technically, I suppose the good part about this is, if I talked to you guys like a month or so ago, it would have just been like, well, there's nothing you can do. There's next, nothing you can do, next. So at least now we're finally getting price breaking here a bit, and they're actually bringing things back down to earth. So interestingly enough, I used to work at a prop firm trading crude oil. And I used to work with a guy who, he was an old pit trader, but he literally had just like a license to print money. And I literally sat beside him for like 2 or 3 years there. And virtually, basically we were right beside each other trading every day. And he used to religiously trade 61.8. So it was just his signature trade. So what a surprise. And the guy made a lot of money trading crude. And what a surprise. You notice 61.8 was tagged. And basically the selling stopped here. So clearly, pretty important level here. I had made reference to Mr. Wyckoff earlier. So here is yet another example of what we call a Wyckoff check. This is actually a really cool example too, because you can directly use this. Like anybody who's looking at this chart, you can take this from this video today and start using this concept like tomorrow. But this is what's called a high to low trend line. And I was even mentioning in sort of public videos that I don't see enough people actually using high to low trend lines. It actually surprises me. But in essence, this is a market structure bottom, right? And of course, this is a nice market structure bottom. So this high here and this low here become incredibly powerful focal point. Derek, did you learn about this in the level 2 program?
Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago, several weeks ago. With trend lines, yes.
Yeah. So you could look forward to that, Ben, if you decide to join the program.
Can't wait.
I gotta keep working you here.
I noticed on this one, this is versus Bitcoin. Is that
Do you want to look at it versus dollar?
Yeah, no, that's great. That's
it's up to you guys, right? You guys tell me what to look at. I'll just do the chart. If we want to look at it versus USD, we can do USD if you want. It's perfectly fine by me.
No,
all right, but of all the other ones, did we do it versus USD? We should probably stay consistent, right?
We've done a lot of dollar charts, yeah.
Okay, well, why don't we'll keep consistent. So let's see. It's probably going to throw my whole theory right out the window. I tell you, that's not a pretty looking chart. That's almost funny. How different. So, interestingly enough, here is the high to low trend line. Now, maybe this is like tether nonsense kind of stuff. I mean, you know, if I understand correctly, aren't the stable coins under attack again? So, if I was going to do that high to low trend line kind of concept, I think I like this breakout high and that that pullback low right there. That's not bad. And I might also do another one from this high down to that low. So interesting how this is. You can see that and this is why I like using these kind of trend lines, is you can actually see, how do I say this? Can you guys see how the market is almost like telegraphing where it wants to go? It's actually kind of telling you ahead of time, well, you know, I kind of want to be down here. And sure enough, down we go. So there's just a simple market structure trend line. Also, too, I used to work with guys who used to do trend lines off of these two peaks. So if you see this is what's called a diamond pattern. Kind of tricky to see. That's why I said I actually like the Bitcoin chart better. This is a pain in the ass chart. Unfortunately, you know what this is, guys? This is don't touch this chart with a 10-foot pole. Sorry. But anyway, so our diamond sort of looks something along these lines. Mind you, we've kind of bastardized it here a bit. This low here, it would have been better had that low not been breached. So unfortunately, I think the diamond, believe it or not, actually is like that. So actually, there's your failure of the diamond, and that's not pretty. And unfortunately, you see value, right? I mean, really, there's the bottom of sort of value, the shelf of support, kind of like right along this trend line here. So this is actually a pretty important level. Would like to see the market try and hold in. The problem here, though, is what do you think is going to happen? Let me put it this way. Is there going to be a letter of the alphabet that kind of jumps out at us if I change this to a line chart? What do you think?
I mean, it's definitely not going to be a W.
Boom. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that looks nastier than nasty. So, I mean, maybe you're coming in here at the bottom end of range, but, you know, again, same sort of thing as Derek actually just did this. This is volume profile.
Yeah.
There's no reason why.
Fill out that area right there.
Yeah, I mean, this is where everybody on the street is officially long this thing, right? Down in here. So, you know, I might even go like, okay, market structure, Wyckoff check. You heard me say that a couple times. So there, even really, you know, let's go maybe off of that level there. So, again, you can see right down in that value pocket here. What I would say is if you're like, fuck you, Brian, I'm a bull. This is going up. I might say, okay, look at. Maybe it's a bull, but we have to see a W on the other side of this trend line. So what I see here is I see actually, I mean, you could actually make some really good money. Look at that. That's like $200, $180. And trendline resistance right now is at 400. So this damn thing could double easily. But that's sort of what I'm seeing right now. And, if we do just simple things like we're going to do a retracement back up top. Good old reload zones. That actually, you know what that is? That's probably a reload zone off of that range. All right, yeah, right into there. Mountain Man. There's Mountain Man again, that bastard. And interestingly enough, like, this is really cool, because I'm a big fan of what they call confluence of levels. So hopefully you can see, and remember we did this on the line chart. You can see the M, right? There's the M. Ugh, yuck. And notice how this M, the original failure, lines up perfectly with Mountain Man, which lines up with that trend line. I.e., if I was hunting a trade location, man, I would be like laser beam focused right in on there. So that's sort of what I see happening here. So there might be, I've seen a lot of these little coins putting in these potential inside bars. I mean, if you're aggressive, you can see we often say look left. So if the bull gets the ball here, there might be a half decent little counter trend rally, right? Because that's all just straight up. You can see the W trying to come in here. Probably if we can get our butt back up above here, a nice big fat W. It's got probably a shot to rally back up into reload zones against trend lines. There's the original M top up there. You can see that. So, do you really want to sell right here? I don't think so. But at the same time, too, the question here is this the start of a new bull? Nah, I don't think so. And if anything, like if we think of crypto as like that 13, 14 scenario, I don't know whether you guys buy into that line. But I'm a fan that really what we're doing is we're replicating where are we here? What year is this? We're gonna do this. That's what I think we're gonna do. So we just did this. It's shocking, right? I mean, fucking Mr. Musk, right? And his silly little Doge nonsense. And then the way Ethereum, I just got filled on my Mountain Man tag. Remember what I told you, people? Actually, let's do a survey. There's only 20 people here. Oh. Anyway, of you 20 people, what did I say? If Ethereum comes down and trades into the reload zone, what did I tell you? I'll stick to that. I will stick to that line.
It is the buying opportunity of a generation, of a lifetime.
Thank you. Anyway, I was kind of hoping somebody over there on YouTube would say anything, but somebody says, Chris Blue says, Kusama equals Canary Network, and that's sort of that test bed kind of thing you guys are talking about, eh?
Yeah, but it's got the logo of the bird too, the canary, so.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Yep, thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. So, if we are going to do this, then that means that technically we're like right here right now, right? We're right in the shit. It's as ugly is. But believe it or not, actually, I think our next 6 months looks something like that. So, in that kind of environment, I could very easily see this Kusama here just clean itself up. Then, we'll start Wing on the other side of this trend line over here, and away we go, which is, probably about 4 or 5 months from now. Make sense?
Yeah, I don't know if I buy into that. I don't know if I know enough to know whether it's smart to buy into that or not for the 2013 narrative, but I want it to happen. Seems like a lot more free money opportunities later this year if it does.
Well, we'll know that it's for real if you hear that the Willy Bot's alive. Any of you guys know what the Willy Bot is? And if we hear that Carpelis is let out of jail over in Japan, then it's a lock. I don't know whether you remember the Willy Bot. That's that they blame the Willy Bot on this happened because of the Willy Bot. So who knows? This was interesting right here. This was the actual Silk Road reversal. I don't know whether you remember that when they came out with the decision that day. And I think that's what has to happen with Bitcoin is there has to be some sort of legislative decision done, right? And everybody goes, that's it, it's over. and then we go. Remember, I mentioned this recently on the site. What I want to see and what bothers me right now about price action is I want to see, kind of like here, I want to see big red candle and close down and stay down. You're a bear, you suck. You're finished, right? That's what I want to see to mark a capitulation. That's sort of what we got out of the Silk Road reversal, though. And then basically everything stopped. The market ticked back up, and then in here they blame the Willy bot, and the price just never stopped. It just kept going up day after day after day after day. Anyway, where was I going with all that? Boom. I like the idea of a good 6 months here of actually cleaning up all of this that just happened here. And ironically enough, in that 6 month period, I said earlier, you should at the very least expect a 50% bounce. And so that means, $350. And here we are at $1.89. There's going to be some money made through the summer here. I really think so. But it's ranging as we get ready for. Do you guys still buy Willy Woo's insane upside objectives? See, that would correspond with that 13-14 narrative. No comment.
I mean, it seems like we always have a little run at the end of the year. So, in that last bull market that we had a huge run at the end of the year over that last sort of couple months. So I don't know. I guess anything's possible in crypto. Just leave it open.
I remember in 13, the top of the market was there was a news anchor on it was like NBC Good Morning America kind of thing, and somebody gave him a Bitcoin, and he held up the QR code to the TV camera, and he goes, "Look, everybody, somebody bought me a Bitcoin," and literally somebody stole it from him while he was holding it in front of the camera, and it's gone. It was so funny.
Oh my gosh.
So, that will be the hallmark of the top, right? When they're talking about Bitcoin on a Good Morning America, first thing in the morning, and they haven't got a clue what the hell they're talking about, but isn't it wonderful? We've been given the script to talk about Bitcoin. That kind of nonsense. All right, so Kusama, the decision. I like the idea of the canary. The problem is if you were thinking about, I want to invest in something that's building a better mousetrap. Do you invest in the test net of the mousetrap, or do you invest in the real thing?
So, that's where some of the argument is, where I'm in the camp where that Kusama will still be incredibly important even when all of the Polkadot parachains are up and running, because once those 100 parachains on Polkadot are done, or at least out, you're still going to have a lot of other coins that want to run somewhere else. And Kusama will talk to Polkadot through their relay chain. So I like the idea of it being a production environment eventually as well. And I think it's more than just that testnet.
All right. So it's a canary idea.
Just my 2 cents.
Location, okay. Needs time to consolidate. Not interested, FA. Not interested in a testnet. So Derek is pass, and pass. Nick says fundamentally interesting, like he just said there a moment ago. Ben says good location. Whoops. Oh, I lost you, Ben. What did you say there? There we are. Good location. Nice interest from the public. Yeah. Well, Gavin Wood, I think he's got a pretty good reputation in this space, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Next one. CETH. What the hell does that mean?
So this one and CDI that's down at like 39 or something, we might be able to skip these. Essentially, Compound is a DeFi protocol. And when you deposit assets into Compound, you get these C tokens back. So if you deposit Ethereum into Compound, you get CETH back. And this is like an interest-bearing token, essentially, that will theoretically slowly grow over time to show your interest that you received from depositing into the protocol.
So people sell this to realize the gain?
So you can kind of you can turn it back into compound essentially to kind of get out. It's kind of a receipt that you have deposited assets into compound. Aave does the same thing. You get A tokens back from Aave.
All right. So probably something you really wouldn't speculate on, eh? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think so. I'm sure there probably are third-party markets. I don't know, but
CETH? Nothing really comes up for that. So, if anything, that means, hey, we got a free ride tonight. Phew.
yeah, I think 33 and 39 we can kind of just gray out.
All right, just looking at this thing here. I hate to say it, but it's not going up. Maybe people are selling and cashing out of these things. My hunch is that a lot of this space, you'll see it sort of circle jerk up, and then you'll see it circle jerk right back down. Kind of like I told, I don't know whether we were recording, but I used to have a gentleman who actually put me up when I traveled through Europe in Switzerland. He had tons and tons of these POS coins and was staking and doing the master nodes and everything. And then the whole damn market rolled over, and I don't even know what happened to him. Sure hope he held on. I'm leery about all these. It's you guys are on the site. You listen to Sjord go on about all the different Luna stories. It's enough to make your head spin. That's there's DeFi space, and isn't there what are your guys' take on DeFi? I mean, I heard that the country of Thailand just banned all DeFi. Does that mean anything?
I mean, I am a very strong believer that 5 to 10 years from now, most of the world's banking and finance will be done in DeFi.
Wow, boom. So
maybe a bit longer than that, but I do think it's the future.
What's your take, Ben? You're awfully quiet here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I've used it. Currently, the fees are pretty high through Ethereum, using something like Uniswap. But I really like using the Binance, like PancakeSwap and all those fun things to play around with a bunch of different things that as a US citizen I'm probably not allowed to touch.
Ooh, yeah, be careful.
So
also,
maybe the hammer's going to drop on that soon. So
yeah. See, I could see Goldman and, all those big sort of, money center, all that kind of stuff. I could see them actually say, hey, this is our playpen. We want to take over this space. I don't know.
Yeah, or
it's interesting. You were talking about fundamentals earlier, and you're using the Binance Smart Chain. I mean, technically, isn't that a centralized proxy?
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's cheap. So cheap.
So you're willing to forego the trust that CZ's going to be up on the up and up with you for the reduced costs. Is that correct?
Right. I think I've forego a lot of trust investing in a lot of things that are on PancakeSwap or Banana Swap or...
So you fully acknowledge, just to begin with, that when you're playing on this space and it's kind of like you're just gambling, right?
And on the very bleeding edge of things, yeah, there's got to be a risk mitigation that you use when you go into that space. But it can be, it's all part of, I guess. I talked to a guy like Sjord, and he takes this shit really seriously. Right. So he couldn't invest in something like the Binance thing because it's against his moral fiber code, kind of idea to go down that road. Gotcha.
I don't know. Is that a silly statement or is that a legitimate statement?
Yeah, I mean, I completely understand how people who are a lot more savvy than me would take it a lot more seriously. And when it comes to playing around there, for me, it's like dabbling. I mean, I'm
But not that you're even
losing
doing
things
that,
left,
right?
right, and center. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Not that you're actually even doing any of that, right? Because
Right.
most and all that.
As long as the IRS gets told what I do, I think I should be okay. But,
All right, and if you lose money, well, then what the hell? It should be a capital loss, shouldn't it?
well, yeah, that's the other thing. How do you? Yeah.
I wonder.
But what's
Now
that
that's the
work out?
interesting thing with crypto. I wonder how many people actually will claim their capital losses. Wade Wilkins says, "Don't hate it, don't date it, just trade it." All right, thank you, Wade. What I would just simply say though is kind of like along the lines of the China rant earlier. It's there's some lines I just don't want to cross. And the worst part about it is I even, my secret options formula club, our stock pickers, they get me to buy fucking China stocks, and I hate it. So I'll probably end up buying these goddamn Chinese the coins and shit, but I'm going to be fighting it tooth and nail the whole way, Wade.
One thing to think about too, Ben, is I know like a lot of people have moved over to Binance Smart Chain because it's way cheaper than Ethereum.
Right.
People have now moved to Polygon Matic because it's way cheaper than Binance. Even it's less than a penny to do anything. There are real, and I use real kind of with quotes, or improved layer 2s coming on Ethereum. Arbitrum is going live very soon. Optimism will be coming later this summer. And then you will have Uniswap on essentially a very, very cheap platform. You will have most of these DeFi products that migrate to either Arbitrum or Optimism. So by the end of the summer, you could be able to do some really, really cheap DeFi on Ethereum as well.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, just seeing how much it's grown in the last year or 2 years, the options that are available that weren't there, the first go around.
All right. IOTA. MIOTA. I think I have some of this from last cycle. Sounds familiar. Who wants to tell me the story
Yeah,
here?
it's been
Derek,
around.
you want to tell us the story?
I mean, from what I know about it, it's been around for one of those older coins. It's the Internet of Things, designed, I guess, for the Internet of Things. So I guess it's going to be able to support a lot of devices and things like that. I remember they had like some news that I kind of remember. It's been a while since I've seen any news about it, but the news that I do remember is that they had some sort of interest, or that Jaguar was going to use it for some sort of I don't know, I guess between their vehicles and whatnot, or something like that. I don't know if that
The
actually
car
panned out.
manufacturer.
Yeah, car manufacturer
Ah.
was going to actually team up with them and do some work on it.
Nasty.
Other than that, I mean, it's I don't know too much more about it.
All right. Nick, any comment?
No, I mean, this one is before my time. I just know it's an IoT use case. That's about it.
$2 billion, so it's definitely like, and that's even down at the bottom end of the range, so this thing was quite a bit more. I suppose the problem is that Jesus, just what the hell's the value of money these days? All right, so I don't know, Ben, you want to chime in here? Any thoughts?
It's, I guess, like the idea is that it's like machine to machine micropayments. I think it's free transactions, but it's proof of work as far as like the computational power that you contribute to the system.
Okay. So I'm gonna remember this as more data though. I remember trading this last cycle. It's weird how a lot of these sites, they just don't have the data going back. Yeah, there we are. So that's what it did. I remember we banged out lots of doubles on this thing. Not a bad looking base. I mean, have you guys ever heard me? Let's see if anybody on YouTube knows this. Oh, what's this? Somebody says here. Skeetoville says, I think Rococo is Dot's testnet. In the words of Gavin Wood, Kusama is not a testnet. Thank you. Appreciate it. Skeetoville. So Skeetoville, what's my expression here? Have you ever heard me say this before? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't. The longer the something, the bigger the something. Anybody over there on YouTube can answer that. Be interesting to see if you even know. Sure, I'm going to leave that out there. I won't fill it in. Let's see if you guys can remember it. But the long and short of it here is I like when I see those kind of long sideways channels like that. That's actually not a bad sign. And I think I've even shown, like I had coins in the past where, and actually you got to go like, let's see, I think we can do it with this one. There you go, boom, boom, like that, and then you can actually rotate this up, and you go, and the equal distance of whatever that is, that's actually your target. So I don't know where the hell this thing wants to go, but it sure looks like it wants to go a lot higher. And actually, this is sort of the, Nick, can you see that sort of history repeating itself? Can you see how this thing went and did this? Woohoo! And then came back down, and then at the end of the year, all hell broke loose. You see that?
Yep.
So believe it or not, that's actually what I kind of think is going to happen here. Big rally, come right back down, basically right back to the bottom, and then all hell's going to break loose into the end of the year.
Kind of fits the 2013 narrative.
Yeah, I think so. I see a lot of similarities. So that, that's sort of the same kind of thing. Now, what's interesting about this, right, is if you look at this in here, I think this is like our next 6 months, which is a pain in the ass. But it should be, it should be good for anybody who's patient here and just slowly accumulate these positions. And then when the market starts going apeshit, right, all you're doing is just spoon feeding the market coin. But notice this, right? What do you think the odds are that was right in our reload zone down there? I bet you pretty good. Boom. There you go. Merry Christmas. So, whether you wait for the actual W's, look at that tight little W right down in there. That's just sick. I mean, maybe it takes that long for this to play out. It's possible. Notice, like, if we go like there to there. We have a simple rule. You cannot take a trade until you actually see a W on the other side of this trend line. And look at this, right? Breakout above. Do I buy it? No. And look how the price just melted down here. Even here, do I buy this? It's not really a W. And a new low. But notice, look at what's happening here. Right, down, up, down, and then we even get, look at this tight little W. I mean, a million miles away from that trend line. This thing, it's done, and it's ready to go. And woohoo! Away she goes. So, Derek actually just learned this in the level 2 program. This is such a powerful concept. And I tell you, man, you just learn this one concept, it will save you a lot of heartache, where you just avoid all of this shit in here. Telling you, it's the shit. So, what is our current situation like? Does it look anything like that at all? Well, there is that downtrend. So really, my hunch is we probably got to, and look at that. Not bad forecast. We got to wait until we get a nice W on the other side of that trend line. And it probably comes in here, right? We go up, then like that, and then woohoo, away we go. So
a lot of these your thesis and a lot of these time frames that you're talking about in terms of when we may see, the bull come back or a better market, it also is in line with a lot of that, what we mentioned earlier about them shipping devices everywhere and China's ban and all that stuff, because apparently it takes, I was reading somewhere, it's going to take, estimated to probably take about 8 weeks to get those things shipped over, set up, and all that stuff. So once those
probably
Bitcoin miners come back online, maybe you see renewed interest in Bitcoin and all that type of stuff, and the narrative changes somewhat, and that puts us in that window towards the end of the year.
Well, makes sense to me. I mean, it kind of sucks, right? Because we're looking at M's in momentum here. There's no hurry right now here at all. So you just gotta cool your jets. But at least the worst part about this is. Or the best, worst, I'm not quite sure. But a good part about this is you're not coming in and buying the goddamn top in a runaway bull market and you're thinking you're going to get stinking rich. oh, I'm just gonna get so fucking rich here. That that never works. I hate that kind of stuff. So thank God we're not in that type of market anymore. Now you want to just slowly accumulate here. You want to wait for the W's. You want to do your nanny nibbles. What's Grim call his setup?
The flowers, blooming flowers, blooming flowers?
Planting flowers.
Planting flowers.
Yeah. That kind of idea, that's applying that little old lady risk management. We just don't put too much money to work in any single trade, so that way you don't have, what was the name of that DeFi project that just blew up the other day, and that Mark Cuban guy just lost a ton of money?
Titan. It was like iron or Titan.
Yeah, just don't do that, okay? Just don't do that. Stupid. Okay. I think that's about all I can add to there. So like I said, and if anything, I like that idea. It takes a good 8 weeks, maybe a month, maybe like 6 weeks, let's call it. So it's like the middle of the summer, crypto's humming in, rocking and rolling. Okay, we're back up and running, that kind of stuff. Then this thing, like August, September, we're going to be coming up here. I actually think there's one more big FU event coming in the stock market this September, October. And that actually corresponds perfectly with the Silk Road dump, because I do believe that we're going to get one of these kind of events, just like we saw in March of last year, right? Wasn't it? Where, everything crapped out and went to just panic lows. I wouldn't be surprised in September, October, one of those events is coming in crypto. And then Fed comes out, prints a gazillion dollars, save the day, but not really. That leads to hyperinflation, and prices just explode higher. That's what I think is going to happen here. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised into this year end that there's actually a run on the US dollar here. This could get pretty crazy here into the end of the year, folks. Ironically enough, I don't think Bitcoin going to 200, 300,000 actually is going to have anything to do with Bitcoin. That's the irony of it all. This is going to have everything to do with the United States of America and whether the final Cold War adversary is going to have a knife stuck in its back. I don't know. We'll see. I suppose that's probably not good news considering I'm talking to 3 Americans here. Oops. Sorry, guys.
I mean, it is what it is. We don't have a lot of say in any of that. So.
Sorry. I mean, man, it's coming to a head here. And you can kind of feel it, right? I mean, they can't go on like fucking $2 trillion print here, $2 trillion print there, 10 trillion. I mean, you can't just keep doing this. At some point, the rubber's going to hit the road. And I think, that's what happens this fall. And actually it's like not this fall, but like this winter, beginning of New Year. I didn't grab that IOTA chart though, so that's not really good of me. Sorry, guys. I mean, am I talking too much? I'm probably talking way too much here. Sorry. Gotta keep moving this train forward. Actually, for whatever it's worth, Wednesday has turned into one hell of a busy day for me. My day started at 4 a.m. I had meetings with people in Europe at that fucking time of day. And I did videos on the site through the morning, traded my own accounts, traded TRI's accounts. I taught a class from 1 to 3 o'clock, had a quick break, and then jumped into this meeting with the boys here tonight. So actually Wednesday is a very, very long day for me. Okay, where were we? Am I going to have a heart attack? Cosmos! All right, I think, Nick, you wanted to talk about Cosmos, didn't you? You're a fan of this thing?
I like the idea. I don't know a ton about it, but it's thought of as like the internet of blockchains. It's trying to essentially create an ecosystem where blockchains can very easily talk to each other. They do seem to have a good amount of development going on in there. You probably might not like it, Brian. I know the Chinese blockchain project that they have going on. I think they're pretty heavily partnered with Cosmos. So there is that.
One we just looked at?
No, just China has an enormous kind of blockchain initiative that they're running with the government, and they're pretty heavily involved and integrated with Cosmos.
Wow. So this is this whole sort of social credit stuff that they're basically Big Brother's just gonna watch you and grade you, that kind of thing. I can't necessarily say that. I just know that, I mean,
I think they see the blockchain is going to be really important in the future. I think they see that interoperability is going to be really important in the future. And Cosmos is kind of built upon interoperability.
Yeah, okay. So not necessarily conspiracy theory there.
I'm not quite there. It might be there.
Would you say this is like a infrastructure of blockchain kind of thing?
I mean, this is technically an L1. It's not just, like a layer one, like an Ethereum, like a Polkadot, like that type of ecosystem. Yeah.
Okay.
They have a lot of the same functionality as other layer ones.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing, like Nick was saying, was the cross-chain communication. I guess everything that runs on Cosmos should be able to interact and talk with like separate chains, be able to talk to one another.
I seem to remember Chico was in love with this one, so it must be a half-decent idea. All right. Technically speaking, ironically enough, that's actually not a bad level to actually start thinking about coming in on a name like this. You have to be a little concerned. Remember I did that high to low trend line with you guys earlier, and I don't like how that and that are lining up. So clearly, if you were going to look for a support line in this thing, it's actually at the bottom of value here. It's a little scary because remember, this is this is our panic low, and I wouldn't be surprised, folks, if I don't think Bitcoin. Like, I could see Bitcoin dip down into, like, maybe 10 to 15,000. To me, that wouldn't be too surprising. Something like this, does it have to go all the way right back down to $1? I don't know. I mean, I guess the question ultimately is, what's the value of one of these things? Is it POW? Does it, because it's like, it's almost, is this like a utility that you use and there's, like, unlimited supply of these utilities?
Yeah, it's uncapped.
Wow. So it's a little dangerous when it comes to sort of speculating to make money from capital gains.
But they do have proof of stake, so I mean, I guess they could lock some coins up, and well, I guess never mind. That kind of nullifies the whole.
Well, and that's the thing, right? With the proof of stake is that you just get paid more and more and more coins, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what like if I understand, ADA is starting to rally back again, right? So it's not like it's a dead name. It's just you got to be able to handle this thing coming right back down to the bottom and just parking itself at the bottom end of the range for the next year or two. That wouldn't shock me. I by default, there's got to be a letter I want to see to get bullish. Now, the good part about this is the top was so quick and it was so violent that actually we weren't able to establish like really powerful market structure. But fascinating. Look how we rallied up into that level the other day. Remember that? The market was kind of feeling uppy. But notice how this guy, he rallied right up into that trend line. You can see he even got above it. Do I take that trade there? Oh, you better not. And sure enough, look how it just melted right back down. I do like the confluence of this trend line and this trend line right here. Oh, look at that too. And you guys see, Derek, you just did the volume profile with the trend line. Can you see how there's like two solid reasons to consider taking a trade there? Trade location. Lo and behold, we got another Wyckoff check there. You can see that there was actually a pretty good battle here. And actually, this is a really good example. You ever heard me say look left? You ever seen me talk like that? So if you see the market screaming down here and you're like, oh my God, we're just busting through lows. Where are we going to stop? Well, what you want to do is you want to look left. So this is this direction. And what you're looking for is when was the last time this damn thing actually, Ben, are you familiar with the term our institutional fingerprint? Does that sound familiar at all to you?
I've heard you mention it, but not.
In essence,
the concept.
What we have to understand is that institutions, big players, they buy down markets.
Right.
The public, what does the public do? Think what just fucking happened there with Allen and Doge.
We buy 69-cent Dogecoin. We buy up markets.
So, ironically enough, if you see your market coming down and you want to try and figure out, okay, where the hell is this thing likely to bottom? what you want to do, look left, is you want to find where did the institutions last. Because keep in mind, when the market's coming down, we said that the public buys up markets up here, right? Buy, FOMO, we're all going to get rich, right? But that means that by definition, what does the public do down here? If they're buying up here, what does that mean the public's doing down here? Selling. Yeah.
Crying.
Yeah, crying down. So the question is, if the public is selling, and yet, like you see in this example, the market's going down, we know that the public are idiots. They're selling, but hey, something happened here. The market turned and went up. Then they went down again, and then the market turned and went back up again. But wait a minute, don't institutions buy down markets and public sells down markets? So then that means this must be visual evidence. Actual visual evidence, a fingerprint right on the charts. This is where the institutions are long. Does that make sense, Ben? That's why I call that an institutional fingerprint. And, interesting, look how the market came screaming down here, and look where it stopped, right? It stopped right into all of these lows. Because whoever bought down here, and if they still had some on the books and it comes screaming back down here, they're going to go, okay, fine, well, I sold up here. I'll buy them back. I mean, that's where I bought them the first time. Might as well buy them back, and zing, back up she goes. And almost think of this as like a cat on, well, no, cat's probably not right. You know, like a hot stove, right? And, you know, the little kid touches the hot stove and goes, oh, yeah, get me out of there. And then they're like, well, no, maybe that wasn't that hot. And they go, oh, I touch it, oh, yeah, get me out of there. You know? So that's actually literally evidence that there's some serious buying demand down in this area here. And anybody can use that concept from this day forward. It's really easy. Now, let's do some confluence. We know institutional fingerprints. And actually, I might make an argument. That's a fingerprint. That's a fingerprint. That's a fingerprint. That's a fingerprint. Do you get the idea, Ben? You see where the institutions stopped the selling before? What a coincidence. That's our trend line support. Can you see the trend line? I've written too much crap on here. See the trend line?
Yep.
So can you start to see the confluence? Can you see, hey, looks like there's a whole bunch of levels that are all kind of lining up here. Got the institutional fingerprint. What did we call this? Let's see if Ben can remember. What did we call this level when the market comes down and slams against that level there? Bang. Think this level right here. What did we call that? Ben, gonna put him on the hot seat. Did he listen to me? I don't think he did.
Starts with a W.
Yeah, 2 words.
Oh, the Wyckoff check.
Hey, there you go. Good job.
All
Nice
right.
job. All right, so Wyckoff check. What do you think the odds are that this is a reload zone? Say probably pretty
Very
good. Sure enough, look at that, my buddy. Everybody on the site, you guys affirm for the public. Do you hear me squawking about 78.6 fib on the website?
Every other day or every day.
Okay, good. So hopefully what you're seeing now is, hey, I got a lot of confluence. I got trend line support. If I can get a W on the other side of this trend line, then I know, hey, this thing's actually got some legs. We're pretty much right at that trend line, eh? Coming into Derek's POC. This is what Derek calls the point of control on the volume profile, right, Derek? I think that's what you call it, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. I can actually start to see a justification to take a serious look at this name. Probably more kind of like nanny nibble, initial sort of, we're going to just nibble. It's not quite a buy yet. You know, we get a move on the other side of this trend line, which is pretty darn steep. This could happen any day now. You got a nice little market structure, W on the other side of this trend line. I think you actually got yourself a half-decent trade. This is probably one of the better ones that we've seen of late, to be honest with you. It's not bad. Not bad. So, there's my spiel for you, gang. I sure hope you like that. In fact, here, let's put that bet up there. There's a lot of really compelling information right here. And also, too, what's the odds of getting a double? So, let's see, who can I pick on now? Derek, if I was going to have a price objective in mind for a counter trend rally, what do you think? What kind of tool do you think it would be best to use?
Easy peasy. What? Fib. Take a fib and go to 50%.
Okay, you're sort of right. The only problem is Mr. Gann would be really upset at you for calling a 50% level a fib. But we'll let you get away with that today.
But the tool is a fib retracement tool, so.
Yeah, okay.
That's why I was trying to think of the tool name.
I think probably Mr. Gann would say, well, this is just nothing more than a statistical measuring tool. Right? Anyway, I'm just being silly. Point here is 50% level is a WD Gann concept, and what a coincidence. Did I talk to you guys about this before? I might have, but, I talked to so many people on the site. There are so many trades in this world. Like, I think that Doge right now, they are manufacturing a free trade for the institutions right now. And I might make the argument that that's what's going on here, too. Do you notice how, look at the fight that's going on down here. This might be a fun trivia test for you. I don't know whether, Ben, you'd be able to answer this or not. We'll ask Ben first. Let's see if he knows the answer to this. What would we call this 3-bar pattern? Boom, boom, boom. And if price trades up through here, that actually represents a bit of a buy signal. What would we call that?
I'm out.
I know, you're out. All right. I don't know. Do either of the two of you want to help him? Maybe you know, maybe you don't know.
It's a fractal.
Yeah. It's also, technically, this is actually also an inside bar, too. Can't call it harami. We would ideally like to see everything inside Mummy's body, so can't really call it harami, but we can call it inside bar. And what's interesting, Ben, if you want to practice this is what we teach. In fact, I think you level 1ers, are you doing candlesticks now?
We're doing this right now, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the easy way for them, and Ben, you want to practice this, maybe we can get you into the school down the road. But you can. Anybody sort of watching on YouTube is like, hey, I want to learn this fractal thing because I keep hearing people talk about this. You can go on like sites like TradingView and type in Williams fractals. And every time the market gives you one of these 3-bar fractal patterns, there's a bearish one, boom, 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 sell signal, down she goes. Well, there's the bullish one, boom, boom, boom. If we go up through here, that's actually a short-term buy signal, believe it or not. Below the trend line, so probably not a good idea to take a trade just there. But the point here is, this is the kind of stuff that you would see out of something that's trying to bottom here, not topping out. It does fractal back and forth quite a bit. But, let's see. Can we bust the fractal out here? Then can we, and this is what I would watch this to develop. Can we put in a W over here? And if we can, this is exactly the kind of scenario I like, that into the end of July, the end of June, I think the market's soft. Heading in through July, and you guys heard any sort of update on whether Biden's going to get his big stimulus plan passed or anything?
I have not heard about the infrastructure bill for a couple weeks.
Oh, so it's gone really quiet, eh?
I haven't been paying a lot of attention, though, so.
All right.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't pay attention either to that.
From a speculator's perspective, you guys kind of have to.
Yeah, true.
So, keep in mind, I got like 20, 30 years on you guys, right? So we have to sort of put context. You guys are talking about crypto and what China's doing and stuff like that. And I think to a certain degree, if you look at the entire risk market within the United States of America, I think it is kind of hinged on what the politicians are going to do. So I might argue that a big part of that is involved in this as well. So, okay, like I said, this is one of the better ideas that we've actually looked at, simply because it's gotten rid of a huge chunk of the price risk. And now we're kind of coming into areas where, if there's going to be a fight to be had, this isn't a bad area to have a fight. And then, like I said, I can actually see a manufactured trade, because if I can buy below $10 here, You see how the 50% level is 20 bucks. So technically that means I could be able to buy here, let it rally back to the 50% level, which is a very normal. Remember we said if we can get ahead of steam, if we can get through these highs, what are we going to want to do here, Ben? What did we say? If we're heading up here, we're climbing the wall of worry. We're cleaning through this high. We're cleaning through this high. We're going, where the hell's this thing going to stop? What are we going to do? No? Right.
I had a little bit of a lag on my screen here, so I was catching the audio a little bit earlier. So,
all right. Point here is we just talked about a concept where we could determine bottoms in markets by 2 words. They start with an L. What do we want to do?
Look left.
Excellent. Way to go. So, market's rallying. Where's this thing likely to stop? There's Derek and his buddies sitting at the POC.
At the 50%.
Right? And if we look left, well, where's next key resistance? Well, actually, it's there, isn't it? And really, I might argue there's a ton of trapped bulls in these wicks right up here that would love to get released. So my hunch is if we can punch up here, we're going to punch up into this area, but once we get into here, we're going to start getting into reload short zones. We're going to be beyond 50% rules. We're going to be at the POC. We're going to look left. We're going to be getting into traffic. Probably the rally's going to stall out once we get up into this area. And that is basically a double off of buying right here. So I don't think that's an accident. It's basically they're manufacturing a way that they can get a free asset for themselves here. And I see this happen in the market all the time. See exactly the same thing going on in Doge right now. Identical. Anyway. Okay, blah, 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 blah. I sure hope I'm not talking too much. Sorry, everybody. Okay, so what is this? This was Adam. This is Cosmos. And correct me if I'm mistaken, didn't Chico really like this one? I seem to remember that he liked this one.
I don't know if he did or not.
I'm going to say, does Chico still like?
I mean, in general, this one I think has gotten a lot of good interest.
Yeah, well, from listening to you guys, it sounds to me like it's infrastructure play of the blockchain. Are there other types of cosmoses out there in the world? Like, do they have competitors?
I mean, I guess I would probably consider Polkadot a little bit of a competitor because they're trying to get after interoperability as well.
I mean, I think at least when I was kind of looking around for this, the term I always saw was inter-blockchain communication. Like, so that's their special sauce, so to speak. Like, that's what gets people interested in, all the chains that are running on Cosmos can interact with one another.
Yeah, well, like I said, because it's got such a steep trend line here, this one might be one to take a real good look at here for a trade through the summer. Especially if, like I like the idea that, the SPACs, remember I said today in the video, that guy just went and did the Universal Music deal. All he has to do one of these days is come out and say, all right, I'm going to officially put all of our music on the library on NFTs. And this fucking NFT space is going to go fucking insane. I can see it coming. I can see it coming at 100 miles an hour. So, all right, cool.
Actually, Jerome Ranson over on YouTube says Cosmos has huge adoption, BSC, Terra, and more, but many don't know that it's supported by it. So maybe there's more.
Is Terra part of that Luna? I think Terra's part of the Luna story.
Terra is Luna.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so maybe this is, yeah.
All right, so Jerome's made the call. Crypto Shrimpy level 1 TRI. Oh, Crypto Shrimpy, dude. You're, aren't you working on the Airtable project with Kevin? You're a guy I gotta get to know, man. That guy's Crypto Shrimpy, dude. I think that's who I think it is. And maybe, Nick, you might want to reach out to Crypto Shrimpy in your class there. That's
Can
cool.
do.
Thank you, Jerome. In fact, actually, I remember we had Jerome, a guy named Jerome, in our first class back in 2014. Man, he was a character. He was Dutch, and he picked up and moved his whole family to Paraguay, I think. Like literal, like what's the landlocked country in the middle of South America? I think it's Paraguay or Uruguay or something like that. And just out of the blue, he just literally picked himself up, his whole family, and he shipped them off to Paraguay.
Nice.
That takes some cojones.
Yeah, and I don't know whatever happened to him. We used to always make fun of that. Man, that was a fun time to be in crypto. Those people they were characters. Anyway, okay, let's keep moving this train forward. Next up on the hit list. So let's see our review. Cosmo, Brian says, is Chico still interested in it? I kind of like the sound of what I'm hearing. I'm going to put also brackets here, liking what I hear. Semi-interested FA, good story, decks coming, TA, Confluence for some nibbles. All right, cool. Fundamentally interested, very big on interoperability. Okay. All right, and my try and grab myself. Oh boy, Ben, we don't need any colorful language here in this.
Go on, finish the sentence.
A free position on this one. Oh, okay, fine. How about May?
Here's my hands.
So he
Don't
said,
worry. We don't have
diamond
the
hands?
cameras. We don't have the cameras on.
All right, I'm just having fun with you guys. All right, so may try and grab myself a free position on this one. Okay. And I might be there. You know what? In fact, why don't we make this a fun little mission on the site? Let's see if we can pull this trade off. We want to try and buy below 10 here and see if we can let some go just above the 50% level at 20. I don't mind that idea. Don't chase, though. See, it's like 1483 on whatever this price is here. You can't pay that price. So you're going to have to be a little bit patient here. Whoever, I don't know whether that's an old price or...
Yeah, these are all prices from like 4 weeks ago, so a lot of these markets have a lot lower price now.
Well, that's good.
Everything. It's at $9 now.
Oh, 9. Okay, good. Excellent. Yeah. Perfect. All right.
And it looks like an 8.77 level off the candles as well.
Hey, there you go. Now he's starting to talk some shit here. Right on.
There you go.
Yeah, so Crypto Shrimpery says he is the Airtable guy. So I would strongly suggest, Nick, you're in fucking Albuquerque with Kavark. So this is destiny, man. So Kavark is a huge fan of Airtable. He was reaching out to you, Crypto Shrimpy. Nick is going to be a fan of Airtable. And of course he's in your level 1 course, so if anything, maybe we've got the blossoming relationship here. Who knows? Okay, we got to keep moving this thing forward, or else we're never going to get through this all in 2 hours. So let's try next one, Clayton. And I hope you guys are doing okay over there on YouTube. I'm just trying my best here. We only got 2 hours to work with, and I talk way too much. I'm sorry, everyone. But let's just keep banging forward. So Clayton, Claytn. What's the skinny here?
Yeah, so this one, it's a South Korea. It's the project's out of South Korea. And it looks like it's built for enterprise, so it's permission and permissionless, right? So it's built for sort of enterprise in mind, where you can have a little bit of a private, I guess, setting on it, as well as have an open sort of permission or permissionless setting on it as well. And the company behind it apparently is like one of the largest. I don't know if it's cell phone companies called Kakao. Kakao.
Okay.
Kakao. So I mean, it has likely built-in users that are people going to use it. They're probably going to build on it, what I'd imagine. And then it runs on the Ethereum virtual machine. so you can use
Okay.
Solidity contracts and that type of thing.
All right. So I should be curious. Anybody on YouTube? You guys seeing anything about Kimchi Premium anymore? You guys are pretty young for that. Do you guys remember Kimchi Premiums?
So there was one, I want to say a couple months ago when everything was screaming up.
Yeah,
There was
they
a bit
actually
of a
started to
kimchi
get going?
premium.
Oh, so that is absolutely the absolute best sort of blow off top bubble indicator. Is what are local Koreans willing to pay in premium over, say, North American or European exchanges? So for Bitcoin, and man, in 1718, God, I can't even remember. I think it was like something like $30,000 or $40,000. Like the premium got up to like 10,000-15,000 above spot. So it's a great tool to watch the sort of blow off topness. For some reason, the Koreans, they go fucking harder than hell into this shit. So like seriously, I can see Derek. I've caught his attention here. So you want to do yourself a favor, look into that Kimchi Premium.
Because I remember that year I would wake up every morning like, what happened to my account? It would just be blown up. It would in terms of like the value would just like have skyrocketed overnight. So I guess that's them buying in the morning and me or buying throughout the day and later in the day. And when I wake up in the morning time, my account had just skyrocketed up. So
could be all this was like just the Kimchi Premium was just nothing more than just like a spread between what and I don't know whether KuCoin was in operation then. I can't remember what the Korean exchange name was then. But what was Bitcoin trading there relative to the rest of the world? So, and actually, I know one guy who actually did buy Bitcoins and went over to Korea and sold them and pocketed the profit. I remember people actually did that. Like, that's how big the number was. So anyway, okay, so it's a use case for Korean cell phone company, and it's sort of it's not Binance Smart Chain totally centralized, but it's not Ethereum totally decentralized. It has a sort of a best of both worlds function. Is that what you said, Derek?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, us in the West, would we really have any reason to be interested in this thing?
Is it an NFT play as well?
Oh, maybe.
I think they do. I think they do have an NFT. No, I'm not. I don't think I saw anything about NFTs.
CLAY. Let's see what we got.
Yeah.
Here.
I mean, I would imagine that they will be in the NFT space, but I kind of get upset that a lot of coins I feel like are just taping on or like MacGyvering on some NFT functionality just as a marketing gimmick.
Yeah.
I wish a lot of them would stick to what.
Well, but this guy's sort of that's perfect Korea, right? We got to placate the Japanese over here. We got to placate the Chinese over here. We just got to do this balancing act, right? That's how they live their whole fucking lives. So, if anything, that's perfect analogy. They're trying to be the best of everything and just trying to appeal to everybody. That makes total sense.
They do have NFTs. They do have NFTs.
All right, there you go.
And they also have a huge like a governance council, I guess that sort of has say in how the network is developed, or has input in terms of features and that type of thing. So they have. I'm looking here right now. It looks like they have like LG and. Looking at names I know.
Right.
Huobi, Gummy, a couple other big companies. I mean, it's like 20 or 30 of them. So,
so interesting how Binance doesn't want to have anything to do with them. That's a bit surprising. They are on OKCoin. Have you guys ever traded on OK?
No.
Yeah, it's an interesting place. And then they're on Trex. How ironic.
Well, it's interesting because Binance is actually on their council.
So I wonder why they wouldn't. Maybe it's a different symbol like XBT. Maybe there's some other symbol that Binance uses.
I don't know how influential this show is, but it just took a nosedive on Bittrex.
Did it? Oh, look at that.
They heard us talking about it.
Oh, Jesus. God, let's see. Oh, look at that!
Oh my gosh, it is the last 3 minutes.
Holy
That's funny.
Jesus!
Bye.
Look at that! It was $1.30. It's fallen in half. Oh boy.
That's funny.
Oh
no,
my gosh.
Trex. Good. I wonder, does Trex actually make it? Oh, I think it's going further. Oh, jeez. Interesting thing, I suppose, if you are a bottom fisher. I mean, it's not a crazy idea to come in just on a stupid, crazy-ass nibble down at the bottom here, but I don't know. That's interesting, actually. I would have thought this chart would have had actually a little bit more robust data. That looks like one of my shit coins. So, we could probably add this to the Shitcoin 5000 list. That looks like a total Shitcoin 5000 name. But, interesting level. I don't know. Be interesting, too, to see if the offer is actually there at 70 or whether they're just slant. Ah, look at that. See, the offer is 95. So, somebody's trying to manipulate this as we're speaking here. So, fascinating. I see this happen a lot. Like, this little one that Chico was talking about the other day, this mist. I noticed you can drive a truck through this spread here on Polo. So, be careful. Is this a DeFi kind of name? I don't know. I don't think so. Is it? No. DeFi? Maybe.
I don't believe it's DeFi.
I didn't see any swap or anything of that kind of stuff. So I don't think that's relevant. But I guess what I would just simply say, the way I look at this is this would be one of my shitcoin 5000s. So Wyckoff check. It's come back down the bottom end of the range. I had said earlier, how do you figure out value on crypto? One way that I find value in the stock market is just simply, that's right, David, DAF5 ID.
I mean, there's not very much volume on this thing anywhere. So I mean, Bittrex, according to CoinMarketCap, I'm looking at right now, it's like $130 of volume. So,
yeah. Well, look at that. So you can see it's already bid 95 here. So I don't know. Something's kind of
even
screwy there.
BitThumb looks like it's a Korean. I mean, the Korean won's trading. I mean, what's 85 million now? Wow, that's crazy. I don't know if I believe these numbers.
Well, that might be a little bit. I mean, Trex. Keep in mind if this is a local Korean story.
Yeah.
What Trex in the middle of the U.S. What's going on there? So, if anything, I kind of like the idea that we could find some sort of Asian exchange. Hello, little bug. You hear that? That was like a June bug. So, maybe if you found like one of these, what do you got here? So 24-hour volume, 88 million? Is that correct? Well, that's quite a bit. On BitThumb. So that's KLA versus KRW. What the hell is that?
That's the Korean won.
Okay. KRW, that's Korean won. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. So let's see what that looks like. I mean, it would make sense. Like, Koreans, they don't give a shit about the US dollar. Hey, there it is. Let's see maybe this looks a little better. Oh.
Wow.
Well, it's a tough case. I think we probably just ought to pass on this one. I'm gonna say, shitcoin 5000. I think that describes it. You want to come in here? Hey, I made great money trading shitcoins. Don't get me wrong. I made hundreds of thousands of dollars trading shitcoins. But that's probably. I'm actually surprised it actually made our top 10 list, or 36. I mean, considering the way that chart looks, that's surprising. Something doesn't seem right about this. How many coins were there out? Was there like 100 billion or something?
And there's a lot. There's over 2 billion because it's at a 2.2 billion market cap at 90 cents. So that would put it at about 2.5 billion in circulation.
Oh yeah, there you go. 2.4 billion. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So poop coin tastes great. All right. So I don't know. We can ask the panel, but I got a funny feeling we're all gonna throw nothing. I'm just gonna put on. We'll add to shitcoin 5K challenge. And anybody on the site will know exactly what that means. Any interest from our panel whatsoever? Not interested. Not interested. Uh-oh. Ben, come on, Ben. Come on. Come on, baby. Oh, no, he's not writing. What's he going to say? What's he going to say? He's going to say... Pancake swap? Oh. All right. Well, Ben's no comment. He's not even going to comment. Really, it's that bad, eh?
No, I think it's just one of those where we don't have a lot of insights into it, so it's hard to say if it's good or not.
That's totally fine. Okay, so Pancake Swap. Here comes another one of these big DeFi. Isn't this the Binance chain?
Yep, this is the Uniswap of the BSC.
Yeah. So I don't know whether you really want to speculate on something like this.
I mean, you should check the chart.
Yeah.
You definitely could have speculated on it back in January and been pretty happy.
Well, just that's it, right? I mean, if it's one thing that CZ knows how to do is he knows how to run a circle jerk.
Oh, this doesn't even go back to January on this one.
Yeah, only March there. This was Tether, right? So there's a Tether over there on KuCoin. See, that's what surprised me about that other one, that Korean coin that we looked at. There was no KuCoin reference. What the hell's up with that? I thought that was kind of weird. Okay, so same thing there. How do I get data going back into the maybe one of these like the BUSD? Would that do it? That's
USD probably would.
Yeah, there you go. So there
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Check that run up.
Okay, well, you know what this looks like? Who can tell me? What does this look like that we've actually been talking about on the site quite a bit lately? And it looks almost identical. What does that look like? Hint, hint, hint. Sword.
Luna.
Yeah, doesn't it look? I mean,
It does kind of look like Luna.
Let's just go see. I mean, I'm quite startled, actually, how similarly it does look. Yeah. See, Luna is actually a bit more nastier of a top up here. So maybe, ironically enough, actually, this one looks a little better than Luna. Go figure. So this is kind of like that Cosmos. Notice that the top is actually extremely steep. See that? Mm-hmm. So that means with this son of a bitch, we get a buy signal if we can get on the other side of this and start Wing out. It's not there yet. Still got quite a bit of work to do. The only problem with this chart is, actually, let's see if Derek can answer this. Is there anybody you think of in particular, the fact that the price just made an M here, and what would he expect to see? Whoops. You understand where I'm going with this, Derek?
No, I don't think I know. Not the way I'm looking at the chart now. You talking about the M top?
Well, this little M, notice how we came down into the value high here.
Oh, Hogue. Talking about Hogue?
No, but you can't answer now. You already failed.
That gave me too much of a little hint. Yeah, okay, I got you there.
I know. Well, it's Hogue's 80% rule trade. So if I go Hogue, then I've given you the answer. But anyway, so an gnarly old futures pit trader. And this is why I really like using things like volume profile. The pit traders, they love using profile. And he would say that, on first blush, of course, this is Mountain Man. We all know Mountain, right? We saw him earlier. On first blush, we should tag the top of value and then ask right here. Okay, well, are we still a bull? If so, then we're going to W and work our way higher. Or, well, maybe actually we're a bear and we got to accept back into value. See how this M right here is basically the market asking, do we want to be in value? And with them breaking down through here, confirming this M, they're kind of like, yeah, we want to be in value. Does that make sense? So, I only asked Derek this because we just did this a couple weeks ago. But, let's see if you can remember this. If we do accept into value, where are we supposed to go about how often?
I think that I think the answer is you're going in a notch.
Nah, actually,
Probably filling one of the notches.
this is called. Remember, we said the 80% play. So actually, the answer is right in there. So theoretically, the only problem is you can't really see it that well. But theoretically, if we accept back into value, then what we should really do is go down and revisit value lower, the other end of value. Which means that this whole damn space, this thing could come all the way right back down into there by the time this is all done. You remember where we walked through the Bitcoin chart? I mean, it's such a cool example. Check this out, everyone. And this is tangent. Sorry, I'm going to do this to you. But if we go back in time, if you ever see the market do this, it's just a warning sign, right? So you see the market here, we went from like 500 up to 20 G's. Look where value is. I mean, value is sitting right here. So where do you think we ought to come back to? Well, notice we got to work our way all the way back down. Now you can even notice, look, value's all worked its way all the way up to here. Right? Boom, we're back down into value, and then we finally turn and head back up. So, you can see it the other one. Right here, same thing. There's value. We're way up here. Got to work our way all the way back down. Tag value high. See how that did that? And I remember when that happened, I was so impressed, right? You see, there is the notch. This is where everybody's long from the previous cycle. So you can quite literally put a line right on your chart, right? And go, okay, well, probably odds are when this insanity's done, we're going to have to come right back down to there. And doink, look at that. That's crazy. You see that shit? I mean, that's nuts. So, point here is I showed you here, same sort of thing. You see this chart. You got to respect the fact that odds are we probably going to come back down a long way. And actually, probably better to have all that there. So, there we go.
That was D's and P's, right?
That's right. Very good, Derek. Excellent. Good remembering. So you can see top of value is 3,000 as we sort of working our way through time. It comes up there. It tagged 3,000. I think that's basically as low as we went, right? And then we took off. So, you can do the same thing here. It's kind of messy. It's very tough to see the profile, but look where the goddamn top of value is. It's at like 5,600 here now. So, I mean, we'd like to see, you can see values being pulled higher here as we go over time. I guess that's as far as away as we are now. But I wouldn't be surprised if we're right back down tagging this big old node in the top of value here when this is all said and done. You guys don't want to hear that, though, so I'll refrain from that conversation.
I don't know. That gets me excited to get in when it hits there, though.
Okay, well, I like your attitude then. That's good.
I mean, I'm a pretty patient person, so I don't mind if I have to wait to get a good entry. But if Bitcoin goes down that far, can you imagine how just devastated and destroyed the alts are going to be?
Well, I don't know how long you've been in the space, but yeah, I mean, basically, I lived through both of them. I bought an altcoin here. And basically, ironically enough, I remember I bought my first altcoin right in through this. It was like, it was on Crypsy? I think Crypsy was the name of the exchange. It's totally gone now. They blew up. And what was really funny is that the altcoin, it actually got back to the level that I bought it at right when Bitcoin hit 20,000. It actually, my little shitcoin, right? It was like, it was like, woo, right? And then it did nothing all through a year. And then by time at the very end of the next bull run, all it did was it got back to where I actually bought it. And I remember looking at it going, hey, look at that. It actually got back to the same price I paid for it. Imagine that. So, you've seen some of my crazy-ass member Quacker, XDN, right? I tell you, folks, at the end of this next rally, I don't know. I think it's going to be like December, January, but, who knows. But this son of a bitch, I could very easily see this stuff up here. There's no reason why that can't happen. Remember I said earlier, the longer the channel, the bigger the run. You can't even see the bottom action down here. That's how far away these highs were. And at the end of this run, I fully expect this shit to be right back up top. I know, call me crazy, but that's what I'm expecting. There's a lot of money to be made here. Like, this is perfect shitcoin 5,000 kind of stuff, right? Perfect.
So I can't even see the price. Is it sitting at like 6 sats?
6 sats. Nothing.
Oh, yeah, I just look on the right.
And I actually bought at 7. So
and you're expecting it to get to 600.
Sure, why not? Fuck yeah. I mean, this shit happens all the time in this space. You all saw that Doge, right? The rule on Doge was Doge is a buy when it's below 30 sats. Actually, that's versus, I don't know what the hell that is. Market cap Doge? Oh, that's weird. Doge BTC, right? We can do it here. I mean, it's the same logic. Look at these crazy ass moves. So it's basically the same thing as when it was sitting down here. It's the same. It's identical. This thing bottomed at like 15 sats, right? You see it there, 15 sats, right down there. So, and ironically enough, that was the floor. And the rule on Doge was anytime it got below, 40 sats, 30 sats, 20 sats, it's a buy. Just buy it. Just buy it. Just buy it. So, could not XDN be sitting doing the same sort of thing? This is like what? 10, 15 sats. XDN's right now 10 sats. Same shit, different pile. And I want to see another one. Maybe you don't know this. My biggest win in crypto is this one. Let's see if you guys even know. What price? Whoops. What price did I pay for this cryptocurrency? And it was funny because I was like famous for it. But what price did I pay for this cryptocurrency? Do you know this one, Verge? Sound familiar at all?
Yeah, it sounds familiar, but I don't. Yeah, I'm not.
They're in the pornography industry, so if you're not interested in that, then you wouldn't have any idea. I bought this thing, and the famous line was, "I'm long from 2 sats," right down here, 2 sats. Yeah, right down here, 2 sats. And I was selling it all the way up top. That's like 2,000 sats.
Nice.
So it happens. It does. But look at that channel. You tell me, is there any room for this thing to run? I mean, you don't know when it's going to happen. Don't get into the business of predicting. But hell, I see W's. I mean, it looks to me like that thing just W'd. And hey, are we buying above value or are we buying in value? So ironically enough, even at 64 sats, this isn't a terrible idea. Anyway. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Brian sure talks a hell of a lot, eh?
I know it's good. I mean, I think that's what's powerful about this sort of concept is because if you're patient and you're buying in a good location, then, I mean, the market's going to do what it's going to do. And I mean, it's proven in the past that, it wants to gain thousands of percent. So
yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Is anybody in the public talking about this thing now?
No. Yeah.
When this thing is like fucking big green dildos, they're going to be all like, oh, this thing's so fucking awesome up here. And, of course, we're going to be selling into that shit, right? I mean,
probably more apt terminology to use for a pornography coin.
All right. Well, there's funny. One of the guys that I first got involved with back in 14, a guy named Romano, he actually was the lead developer of this one. And he was famous. He went to Vegas and ate out a porn star's ass. And it was all over the fucking internet. I mean, it was, and in fact, there was even the news headline was, "Crypto developer eats ass to save market." I mean, it was so.
He said
funny.
He was a TRI guy.
Well, actually, he and I started out together, but Julian caught him stealing our content. And so we actually asked Romano to leave the site.
They turned into a TMI guy.
TMI?
Too much information.
Yeah, well. I mean, I think he did very, very well, and I think he's a good programmer. He was really, really young at the time. And unfortunately, when you're really, really young, you want to take that quick exit, just that quick get-rich kind of thing. And unfortunately, he just didn't have enough life experience. And I think he just made a bad decision on the fly. And unfortunately, I'm the type of guy that if I lose trust in you, then our relationship's over. I can't work with you if I don't trust you. So that's what happened there. Shit happens. That's the way it goes. Okay, let's keep moving this train forward here. We must be getting near the end. Oh, Pancake Swap. We never did actually get a chart of this damn thing, did we?
I think so. It had one of the steep kind of trend lines, like, didn't it?
Yeah, that's right. We said that because it was
I think
so steep
the
that we could
the
justify
BUSD
buying
one.
it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, the problem here is that I mean, you
That's
could have
very-
gone and bought BNB coin, right? And technically made a fortune off of that. But the problem is if you buy BNB, are you actually even participating in cryptocurrencies?
Yeah, I mean this actually directly ran because BNB ran.
Yeah.
When ETH got super expensive and BNB started getting popular, this is where everyone traded, was Pancake Swap.
Yeah. Yeah. Trying to. Oh boy, a June bug's still flying around my desk here.
Right. It was almost kind of like a genius timing to bring it out right when, Ethereum prices were going through the roof.
It was almost a little too genius, if you ask me.
And will it stick around when Ethereum?
Well, that's
options
just it.
become a
Like,
little more-
as soon as Ethereum deals with the high cost of gas, do any of these alternatives actually make any sense at all? There it is.
I think there's still definitely a speed narrative. Ethereum is never going to be the fastest chain.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely think there's and just the scaling of it, it will still need more scaling than it's going to get from any of the L2s, or even ETH 2.0, I think, is only 64 times the scaling or something like that.
Mm. Okay, so, simply put, no W's on the other side's the trend line, so it's not really like it's a buy signal. I would say it's come into value. Probably interesting, this high wick here. I'm not quite sure what that's in reference to, but interesting. Remember we said look left, Ben. You can see there's some institutional fingerprints right down in here. So 88.6, coming down, filling in the profile. Maybe you could be like, if you really want this thing, put yourself on a dollar cost averaging program, just slowly accumulate. Really, it will be a buy once we get on the other side of this trend line and start Wing out, which just isn't here right now. So there's really no hurry. All right, so we don't need this on the chart, but lay. God, I couldn't believe McAfee. I can't believe that. Man, I can't believe that. I don't know. You guys, do we dare
I
comment on McAfee, or are we going to get...
I can believe it. I mean, he was, it sounded like he was suffering. Had you heard some of his tweets and stuff? He was kind of desperate sounding.
I feel, though, what
I don't
Brian is getting at is not that what's being reported actually happened.
I don't think he took his own life, but anyway, we'll see how it goes. Okay, so, and I apologize, that just came to my brain. I'm not quite sure why I thought that. So I'm I'm gonna say personally not interested because not genuine crypto. Like I'm in. Hell, if I want to go buy a centrally controlled currency, I can always just go buy Canadian dollars, right? So I don't really need to be in another centralized currency. And I don't really even do any of that pancake swap stuff or anything, so it doesn't really interest me. Not interested. Don't usually buy food coins. Is this a food? Is that a joke?
Pancake swap.
So
And you got Pancake Swap and Smoothie Finance, and there's tons of food coins. I try to stay away from them because they're usually scams. I mean, Pancake Swap isn't a scam, but
okay, all right. So that's kind of like, okay, cool. And then so Ben's actually interested. You'd be willing to take a little nibble there at 88.6? A little bit of value trade?
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, they do amazing at gamification stuff, and it's like playing a game, so I can see people just getting in there and, yeah, going crazy with it next time round.
Yeah, I mean, to make money from trading, it's probably not a bad vehicle at all. Not a bad vehicle at all. BSV, oh God, is that you know who? Am I thinking? Craig Wright and all that shit? Is he still alive?
The real Satoshi.
BSV, right? Where should we look at this thing? God, there's so many. Actually, I'm surprised he's not listed on as many exchanges as he is. So what should we look at? What would be your preference? Somebody give me something. Phoenix? All right, Phoenix it is. Ooh, ouch. Oh boy, that doesn't look good. Comments?
I mean, I might get some hate for this if we have any Satoshi Vision fans out there, but I don't know why anyone would ever want to buy this unless it's just a straight play. It looks like a great chart to make some money.
I remember we had a guy on the site a year or two ago who actually did a presentation on BSV, and he made a pretty compelling case that because I guess it must be to do with the block sizes and stuff, but he said that actually from a cost usage perspective, this was much more efficient. And unfortunately, I told him while I did the presentation, I was like, you know, it sounds to me like you're right. The fundamental justification. The problem here is that are people really using Bitcoin that much? I remember like this would be like people using Bitcoin and stuff, but I don't hear a lot of talk about Bitcoin development right now with this stuff.
And even its accessibility to trade, I don't think it's there. Like, I don't think you can get it on Coinbase anymore, or Kraken, or even Binance, like US. It's hard to find.
It's tough, eh? I mean, unfortunately, you know, we have an old saying: "What are you supposed to think when you see the market smiling at you?" And, you know, like the other names, remember where they were very tight tops and stuff? That is a very well-defined top. So what I see here is a massive brick wall. So I doubt this thing's getting up through these highs anytime soon. And, you know, we'll say that this thing would be a quote-unquote buy when it can W out on the other side of that trend line. That's forever. I mean, God, that might be years down the road. So, unfortunately, that's a tough one. Very tough. I mean, maybe if you are a fan, maybe hunt for like a nice little inverted head and shoulders if we're lucky. And it can rally back smartly to this neckline and then hold these lows on the next test and hold above that left shoulder. Then maybe you got something to work with. This is the POC, and this is below value, so you are getting this cheap for whatever it's worth. Is there a gap down here? No. Would have been nice if there was a nice price gap to fill in there. I mean, I suppose one of the luxuries of looking at a name that's not very popular in the marketplace is it's probably going to be cheap, right? Half decent location. The only problem is it's not trending higher. You'd be coming in like value hunting, nanny nibbles, all that kind of stuff. And we just broke new market structure. There's probably a divergence building here, which might suggest, yeah, you can see we made new lows here, but you see momentum did not make new lows. So there might be a bottom coming in here. And really, you know, as I told the other gentleman, you know, the story might be good. I don't hear too many people talking about like Bitcoin. Remember there used to be like, you don't hear from Roger Ver anymore. Yeah, there you are. Somebody on YouTube, Wan Jung Song just said, Roger Ver has been exceptionally quiet. Haven't they? I mean, it just seems like a bit odd. They've been very, very quiet, eh? Oscar! Hey, Oscar. He says, I stay away from Bcash, BSV, and everything else from that side of the road. Okay, thank you, Oscar. BSV would be more popular if Faketoshi and Calvin Ayer weren't involved in it. Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Mr. Vitalik, actually, he stood up and chastised Doctor. Doctor of Theology. I don't know whether you're allowed to call yourself doctor if you're a doctor of theology. That's not really fair. That's kind of cheating, isn't it? Anyway. All right, so I'm not hearing a lot of interest from the gang here. And I don't see any reason technically other than it's cheap. That's about the only thing that I can see that maybe is redeeming. But it's interesting that even at this price point with horrible momentum, that it's still in our leaderboard list. That surprises me. So do a lot of people still use this darn thing? No comment?
No comment.
No idea.
Yeah, I don't know anyone.
All right. No interested, no interest, and Ben's going to be bottom fishing? No, Ben doesn't even like it either. Oh, you're out of here, buddy.
It's rare, but it happens.
Okay, we're not going to do this CDAI because that is a sort of one of the stablecoin kind of things, or a derivative of the DAI. Is that right?
Yep.
All right. So last coin for the night. Actually, that's not bad. Well, 2 hours and 24 minutes. I talk way too much. Sorry, guys. Crypto.
I don't want to stop you though, because I learned so much doing this.
Yeah, you having fun?
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh, how are you
I
guys
agree
doing
with
over
Nick.
there on
Great.
YouTube? Oh, I didn't check in. Ben, what do you think? You having fun tonight?
Yeah, boy.
Okay. Derek, what do you think?
Yeah, having fun. Yeah, I mean, I'll repeat what Nick said. I mean, in terms of just learning a lot on this, here too. So
Awesome. Well, we're all learning. Way to go. Crypto.com. This is the old MCO, isn't it? Wasn't it? Yeah, MCO. So actually, I'm pretty pleased to see these guys survived. I remember we had a guy on the site, Mo, who actually did, all the funny, like the little icon that I used for this video here, right? He was the guy who did up all of those. So
oh wow.
I don't know whether I've shown you guys that. I actually did like a whole sheet of all the pictures because it was so funny. All the pictures that he did. Let's see where logo covers. So, darn. Anyway, it's like, because I want him to do NFT this up. So he did all of these. Check this out. All of these covers. He used to do like cover pictures for all our daily briefs and stuff. I haven't looked at some of these in a long time. They're so funny. So here's Brian in Monte Carlo. Isn't that adorable? I swear Mo is such a great artist. In Casablanca. There's Brian driving jetpacks. There's Brian on the range. This is actually what we're using for the cover picture of this video here. Brian playing the guitar, playing the greatest hits. I love that Moe. He totally thought this stuff up. By when they're crying, Mountain Man, Little Old Lady, and banging out doubles. Isn't that great? He was so imaginative. He was a great guy. Anyway, so there's there's Brian Banderas. And actually, I remember when excuse me, there was a meetup down in LA, and they got a picture. And look at my hairdo, a whole totally terrible hairdo. And they had masks, and everybody at the meetup in LA had a mask. And this lady, she held up the mask, and they took a picture of it. And neither of these girls have any clue who I was. But anyway, they're holding up this mask. Anyway, so the guy who did all these fun pictures, that's Mo. And Mo, he was that one who actually introduced me. And it was back then it was MCO coin. And then they reorganized. Now, I remember Sjord got really excited about Crypto.com. He was super excited about this. So that's my backstory. You guys tell me, what do you see here? What do you think of this thing?
I mean, it seems like they offer a lot of different products on their site. I'm wondering how they got the card. I mean, they got a MasterCard, a Visa card, or something
It's
like that.
yeah, a debit card.
Yeah, I
That's
remember that
pretty-
was pretty difficult. That was a big
Yeah, so I mean that kind of separates them from a lot of other projects and things like that. So it's,
And holding Crow actually has utility with that because the more Crow you get, the more perks and rewards you get. If you hold enough, I think you get like free Netflix and Amazon Prime and
wow.
other stuff that they'll. Yeah, there's some good perks for holding, but I mean, you might need to hold like 50,000 or 500,000 for that to get into that perk range. But yeah, I forget they have
Hold on
some
a
pretty
second.
good perks.
Hold on. See how much I got. I want the free Netflix. Fuck.
I mean, it looks like you can earn percentages on deposits that you put in there too. So Bitcoin
Really?
8%, ETH 7%. So I mean, it's
Yep.
USDC 14%. So I mean,
What I got? I only got about 8,000 or 9,000 of this thing. Oh well. Oh, what the hell? Yeah, I can get something like that.
One of my buddies is really big into crypto.com and I forget everything that they've been doing lately, but he would send me like an article every week or two about
Wow.
the next thing they're working on. And so like they have an NFT marketplace now. They've
Yeah.
been very active this year. I don't own any. I don't necessarily plan on buying any, but I do really like the debit card and I like their ecosystem seems to be growing.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm hearing positives from you guys, so that's good.
And the address crypto.com isn't going anywhere.
It's a good URL.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be like pets.com. They'll sell the URL for like $500,000 or something.
As long as it goes back into the coin.
So that was crypto.coin. No, which one should we look at? Goodness. Hey, we can look at it on Sushi Swap. No? All right.
can U.S. citizens, I guess, be involved with this at all? Or
What's the legal ramifications of you guys doing business on a Uniswap or Uniswap? That's legal for you guys.
well, no, I'm talking this in terms of like if the card and all that stuff. Like I'm kind of
Oh.
interested in like putting some getting that 14%.
So I do have-
APY or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's legal, but I do have an American friend that has the crypto.com card.
Okay.
I think Sjord has one.
When you enter the website, it does ask if you are a US citizen and kind of lets you go through. So I don't know.
Oh,
Anyway.
I think they have a separate exchange. It's kind of like Binance US and Binance.com.
A dumb down exchange for
I
us.
think so.
Oh boy.
Okay. So where should I be looking at this thing? Tracks? Hobby. I heard Hawaii. Did you guys hear something like Hawaii's about to blow up? Anyone?
I haven't heard.
Wobby.
Only in the lounge, I saw something.
Yeah, somebody
But
posted
look into it.
something earlier. Can't poor. Oh God. I'm not even gonna comment. That's terrible. Oh goodness, this world. Okay, so where should I be looking at? We'll do OKCoin. What the hell? Let's see what this looks like here. All right, so regulatory issues aside, interesting how this actually is pretty smooth price action. Come on, you get up there. Oh, there we go. I seem to remember like it might have been that move there. It was when they did the move from MCO to CRO. But how ironic, eh? All they did was they just backed it right up into a reload. Oh, Jesus. I mean, what do you think? Are you guys starting to see how bloody cliche this is? Just keeps happening over and over and over. You could probably make the argument, maybe a nice Wyckoff check there as well. There's kind of a funny candle, and some sort of fat finger that goes all the way up top there. But probably something in there. So, look left kind of thing. You see there is a bit of a fight that happened right at this level right there. So that this looks so familiar. But although I didn't look at this on, you know what? Maybe because I think that Trex still is. Maybe I was looking at versus Bitcoin. Anyway, yeah, there's Trex there. Let's see if there's any better data. No, it's about the same. Well, so there is that pullback. So actually, that other side had even better data. Sorry. Okay, so, so technically speaking, backing up against the bottom end of range, Wyckoff check. It shouldn't surprise us. Again, here's a good example of that value proposition. So you see how we tested the top of value on this big dump here. And then we spiked away from it. Think of like that finger on the hot stove. Ouch. Then we came back down. Okay, do we want to be in value? And then boom. Yep, we want to be in value. Then they've gone and M'd out here. So M after M after M after M. Then broke to new lows. So that can't be that good. Probably a good example where there's the POC. So, we accepted back into value. Probably got to come right back down to this level here. So we're basically there now, more Wyckoff checkedness. Interesting, we're getting divergence start to develop on this dump down in here. So there's probably a trade developing here. Interesting too, I would actually argue that your trend line is probably like that, which means we're probably going to get a rally. That's 21 cents, and here we are at 9. So gee whiz, there's another one of those manufactured doubles. I could see that.
You got a W on the Willie.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. I don't think Willie ever went stupid though, eh? I like to, see how Willie went nice and stupid here. Took a while, but that's what I really want to see, that kind of stuff down in there. But, it's heading in the right direction. You see the M's in RSI. So we got to, stop this. And we got to start Wing out here and turning back up. This is going to take a little bit of work. See, Derek, see how it W'd out like this here? I mean, that's what we really want to see. Like in momentum.
Yes, I see.
So, not bad location. We can even do another fib just off of this range. So we're even below, and I've often said, I don't know whether you heard me today, I was going on about it, but quite often what I see happens is over time, you'll look back over time and you'll go, gee whiz, darn market actually goes and W's right off that 78.6. So I wouldn't be surprised if our future looks something like that. Got the confirmed bull div, so that's a good sign. Confirmed right there. So that rally here, this rally here says that the market's actually much stronger than what price itself would lead you to believe. And also, too, probably a good sign on this sell-off, the volume actually was relatively light. You notice, I guess you'll do this in a little while, Nick, but Derek, you probably remember the volume impetus. Can you see how the bears, they're kind of losing steam here? So big bear, oh, a little bit quieter, and oh boy, quite a bit quieter, and then oh boy, look at that. I mean, this last push lower, there's almost no volume at all. So what we really need to see is you want to see the bulls step back up. Right now, I'd say everybody's just falling asleep, just waiting for somebody to wake up and take control of this market. That's not bad. Definitely, we're in location. We've actually got indicator confirmation coming in. Now, all we really want to do is just get some price structure. So, not bad. Considering the upside, credit cards, and hearing that you guys talk about how they have a diversified portfolio of assets, not bad. I'll say I'm interested. Let me say 1, location, 2, div, 3, 2, Just waiting on price structure. All right, gentlemen. What do you think? Shall we call it a night? Let's hear what you guys have to say. Derek, what do you think of that crazy-ass crypto.com?
Yeah, I want to learn more about it. I thought I was putting that
Oh,
in
you
the
were...
right box. Yeah, I want to learn more about it. I think the TA is decent.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd be interested in actually using maybe some of their products.
Well, just move your comment down one row, and I'll give you a hug and a kiss. Lots of good fundamental drivers for 2021 so far. All right, sounds good. Like the domain and location. I like that. All right, so, one thing I really want you to learn, probably going to be hard for you to learn outside of the school, Ben, but think this, right? And maybe write this down. Location, indicator confirmation, price structure. You follow that 3-step process, I'll tell you, it makes this job so much easier. So, all right, we'll leave it at that then.
That's good stuff.
Okay, why don't we do a vote here? Let's see. Brian was thinking cautious a couple weeks ago. We missed last week's vote, so I'm going to give myself a passing grade on my cautiousness. I think price is a bit weaker. Nick is optimistic. Derek, what do you think, Derek? How are you feeling now?
I'm probably cautious now. Cautious now because I think, like you mentioned, there could be some more downside.
All right, so I'm going to actually, believe it or not, call me crazy. I'm going to say optimistic now because I think we just put in a 4-hour pivot there. So probably next few weeks I think will be uppy. Nick, you are going to go optimistic. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm mainly going week by week here, but I think we're gonna have a good
fine.
week. I almost put bullish, but I'm a little scared
Ah.
with the gigantic ETH options expiry this Friday. I don't know what's gonna happen with that, if anything.
Okay. And Ben, what do you think? How are you feeling this week?
I kind of like the thinking of how you were talking about them bringing it up to have a bit of a fake out, but getting on a free position maybe in the short term.
Okay.
Not necessarily that we're going for a long term bottom, but yeah. So I'm feeling a little bit optimistic about maybe what's going to happen over the next little bit, but still, most of my money's on the sideline waiting for some better price structure.
Okay, I guess probably this little index is probably just based purely on what we think the corn's going to do, I guess. I don't know, something like that. Might be hard to go too specific. Okay, so that gives us a plus 2. I think that's our bullishest reading so far. Okay, well, what do you think, gentlemen? Did you have fun tonight?
Always.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, had a
All
good
right.
time.
Yeah, excellent. All right, well, we're heading off in a good direction, I hope. Hope you all on YouTube enjoyed the offering here tonight. I think things went relatively well. You're here for the too much talking. Okay, so why don't we leave it at that? I have no idea how the hell we're going to do this. I remember we did 3, 2, 1 buy for now, but that was a total train wreck, wasn't it? So
It was bad.
all right, why don't we? I think we're going to go week by week by week. We'll just give individuals a chance to take us on out here. So I'm going to go, Derek, you got the call tonight. So thank you so much, Nick, Ben, and Derek, and that Beamish guy for a great show tonight. If you did find value, remember, the whole reason why I'm doing this is because I want to build that property in Decentraland. So if you feel generous, please consider offering a donation onto that so we can build that property out. And thank you very much, gentlemen, for a lively conversation. And just getting schooled up on what the current crypto market looks like and the various leaders in the market right now. I think we're on a pretty good course, so thank you so much, gentlemen. And Derek, if you could take us out of here. The only thing left for good old TRI to say at this point is a big...
Bye for now.